is a glorious Friday and the sun is shining, it feels good, there's a slight breeze, and it is a perfect day to get a little bit of work done. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna start working on the garden area. You saw in some of the previous videos, we had put up the fence, we got the chickens out there working that area, and then we got mulch and we put that out here to begin decomposing. We got a second round of mulch, and now we are at the point where we're ready to start spreading that mulch. But, and this is really important, there's some weeds that had popped up, and I could try to smother them with the mulch, but I don't want to take the chance. So I'm actually going to work on trying to get up some of these weeds, just pull them up by hand, or I've got a tool called an action hoe that I'm going to use that can just run back and forth over the ground to try to break it loose from the soil, and then actually just go ahead and bring it right up out of the ground. So let's get started. So I want to just show you really quickly a little bit of what I'm talking about with some of the weeds. So let's go in for a closer look. You can see here that some grasses have started to come up. There are a few different kinds of weeds that are in here, and really we just don't want to be battling this the entire time. The whole purpose of putting the mulch down is to actually smother the weeds, but I don't want to take the chance that it can't completely get rid of the weeds as they're coming in. So instead, we'd like to go ahead and get as many of them up as we possibly can. So let's get started. Well, good news, we've been able to get a lot of the weeds up. This is looking a lot better than it was even just a few hours ago. We did take a little break in here for lunch, but what actually wound up working out best was to use just the regular hoe. The action hoe was good, but the regular hoe was better. So we have cleared out a lot of the weeds that were here, and now it's time to go ahead and start getting the mulch spread out. So we're gonna do that next.
All right, we are getting ready to do the step number 1 of our garden. I thought I'd ask Katie a few questions about what we're going to do. All right, Katie, what are we getting ready to do?
Plant seeds.
We are. Are we gonna put them in the soil first, or are we gonna soak them in the water first?
Soak them in the water.
We are. We are planning on soaking these seeds. I used egg cartons to keep them separated so I'll know what's what. We're going to soak the seeds for 2 to 3 hours, and then we will transfer them to our seed trays to go on and plant them, so hopefully they'll be germinating in a week or so. We're getting a later start than we hoped, but that's the way it goes. We're doing some experiments with our garden. I will let you come along as we soak and plant our seeds. Well, seeds have been soaking for a couple hours. We're ready to mix the soil with some water and then put them in our seed trays, so hopefully they'll be germinating in a week or so. Come and join along as we get this process started. All right, well, we are putting a permaculture principle to work, making a problem into a solution. not so much a problem, but we had not yet finished John had not yet finished our chicken tractor, which is okay because we aren't ready to move them yet. So it was just hanging out with a couple of sides that needed some siding on them, but we also needed to protect our new seedlings from the chickens. So we figured if the chicken tractor will keep the chickens in, it will also keep the chickens out. So we decided to use it. It wasn't being used, and to put all of our seeds in it until they get to be several inches high, in which case the chickens will probably leave them alone. So take a look and see what we did.
So the next step is for us to take this mulch right here and begin to spread it out. So we're actually just going to take it and push it that way. We've also got the original load over here that we're going to be able to pull in, and we want to go ahead and get this down nice and thick. I've got a feeling, there's two observations from the weed pulling today. One is good news. We have a lot of earthworms down there, more than I was expecting to find. So that's great. That means that it's really healthy for the soil, and if we can do the right things, we'll just be able to continue encouraging that. The second thing that I observed is there's a lot of crabgrass in here, and I just have this feeling that we're going to be pulling crabgrass all summer long, no matter how thick we make this mulch. So we've got a lot of work that's probably going to be ahead of us, but we were talking about this over lunch. It's year one, and for the first go round with this garden, we know that we're gonna have some things that are gonna be trial and error, and some things that aren't gonna work out so well, but we've got to compound on those successes year after year. So hopefully year 2 will be better, year 3 will be even better, and later on down the road, this area will look completely different. So, but for now, we gotta go ahead, we gotta jump in, let's start spreading some mulch.